What if Deku had the Omnitrix's power? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Nothing But Anime. We're continuing our What If Deku Had the Omnitrix's Power series with part 4. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest videos. Let's get started. Entrance: UA High School, Mizutofu, Japan. Time: 8:30 a.m. Izuku was in his junior high school uniform as he was rushed to the entrance of U.High for the exam. Made it just in time, Izuku said in between breaths as he starts to walk to the school. I was so worried about the watch and missing the exam. I never got a chance to test out my new power yet in human form, Izuku thought as he remembered how he got the power. Eat this, All Might said as Izuku stopped and held his hand to his mouth. I may have swallowed the hair, but I feel nothing different before me. And Izuku stopped talking as he glazed down to his wrist and to the watch as it was still blue. The watch is still on the blue zone, Izuku said to himself. Stupid Deku. Izuku heard a voice behind him. He turned to see Bakugo glaring at him with hate in his eyes. Kaken, Izuku said. Get out of my way or I'll set you on fire. Bakugo growled as Izuku jumped a little and flipped his arms around. Ah, good morning. Let's do our best out there. Good luck, Izuku yelled as he moved his arms around while Bakugo just passed by him, which confused Izuku. He turned back and watched Bakugo walk to the campus as students whispered among themselves when they saw Bakugo, as they thought that he was big game for surviving the sludge villain attack. Ever since that day, Kaken has been taking it easier on me. Well, that is, until no one's around to see that is. He's gotten more ruthless behind closed areas and doors. Which is why I still have the burn on the left side of my ribs, Izuku thought as he rubbed his ribs. He was about to walk into U.A when his phone started to vibrate. He took it out and saw 2 messages were sent to him. One from his mom. Good luck today, sweetie. Mommy's proud of you, Mom. And one from, good luck in your exam, Izuku-kun. I'll be rooting for you. Momo, winky face. Izuku smiled at the messages. Ever since Izuku and Momo met, they've been chatting to each other nearly every day. Well, more like Momo talking to Izuku while the poor boy tried to communicate while trying not passing out. He smiled and shook his head as his legs start to shake. I've worked hard to get here, and now that I'm here, ready to take this exam. Thanks to All Might and the watch. I'm actually going to be a hero, Izuku thought confidently as he takes a step, but somehow manages to trip over his own foot, causing him to fall to the ground. Or I'll just die, Izuku thought as he braced for impact when he stopped in midair. He looked down and saw that he was inches away from the ground while he floated over the ground. Next to him was a girl with her hand next to him. She had warm brown, shoulder-length hair. It bobbed and curved inwards at the ends, 2 longer clumps taking the same shape on either side of her face, which over round, and short bangs that reach roughly a quarter of the way down her forehead. She was wearing a sailor fuku with a dark brown jacket. Ha, are you okay? The girl asked as Izuku starts to panic as he moves around in the air until he finally notices the girl next to him. She giggles as she corrects his position to put him back on his feet. I stopped you with my quirk. I'm sorry that I didn't ask first, but I figured that you wouldn't mind catching you since falling on an important day is bad luck, the girl said as she put her fingers together, and Izuku saw that her fingers had a small pink pads on the tips of her fingers, which somewhat resembling the toe of a cat or a dog's paw. Isn't this so nerve-wracking? The girl asked so casually while Izuku tried to speak, but due to his shy nature, especially in front of a cute girl, he couldn't say one understandable word. Well, I guess I'll see you inside, the girl said as she jogs to the building, leaving a stunned Izuku just staring at her before she disappeared into the crowd. Holy crap, I talked to another girl, Izuku thought when really, he didn't talk anything besides babble nonsense out. Now, let the record be known that Izuku hasn't really talked to the opposite sex that much in his life. In fact, Izuku has only talked to 3, well, according to him, 4 women in his life now, and that includes his mom in that list. He started to chuckle a bit before it turned into a full-blown laugh, which made the examiners look at him as if he was crazy. The written portion of the exam was difficult, but Izuku got it done with some minutes to spare thanks to his intelligence and the studying he did during his 10-month training and training to hone his transformations. Izuku and the rest of the examiners were in an auditorium as Izuku sat down. Unfortunately for him, he sat right next to his former childhood friend turned bully as the lights turn on and President Mike was in front of them on a stage. What's up, UA candidates? Thanks for tuning in to me. Your school DJ. Come on, let me hear ya. President Mike shouts while the rest was in complete silence, but Izuku was jumping in place a bit. /N. He's already met Mike a few weeks ago, so he's not as excited as he was in the canon. Keeping it mellow, huh? That's fine, I'll skip to the main show, President Mike said, acting like nothing happened. Let's talk about how this practical exam is gonna go down. Okay. Are you ready? President Mike asked, but his response was total silence. Izuku looked down to his wrist and checked on the watch to see that his was still on blue mode. Okay. Now, like your application said, today you rocking boys and girls with B in a 10-minute mock battle in a simulated suburban city. After I drop the mic here, you'll be escorted to your specified battle centers. Everything good? President Mike said as Izuku and Bakugu looked at their Examine I.D cards and saw that Izuku was going to be in Battle Center B while Bakugu was going to be at Battle Center A. I see. So they spiting us up so we can't work together with friends, Bakugu said, figuring out the purpose for the different locations. Izuku looked at Bakugu's exam ID, which Bakugu noticed. Get your eyes off my card, Bakugu growled as Izuku flinched back. Damn. I was looking forward into crushing you, Bakugu said, now realizing that he couldn't crush Izuku during their mock battles due to the different locations while Izuku looked at him nervously. Okay. Check out your targets. There are 3 types of mock villains in every battle center. You'll earn points based on their level of difficulties. So you better choose wisely. Your goal is to rise your points by shredding these foes like in a mid-song guitar solo. But check it, make sure you keep things heroic. Attack other students is a you-data. No, you dig, President Mike said. Excuse me, sir, but I have a question. One student said as he stood up and with his hand up. Hit me. President Mike pointed to the student when a stoplight lit over him. This student was relatively tall and muscular with a wide frame. He had short dark blue hair, flattened neatly down and parted on the left of his head, a small patch completely shaved near the base of his head, and rather square eyes which matched the notably pointed shape of his jaw. He had a serious expression glasses on, while his uniform was something that looked like a private school and he wore glasses. On the printout, you listed 4 types of villains, not 3. With all respect, if this is an error on UA material, it is shamefully. We are students who expect the best from Japan's best school. A mistake like this won't do. And you, with the unkempt hair, this student pointed to Izuku, who looked a bit surprised from being called out. You've been muttering and looking down this whole time. It's distracting. If you can't take this serious, then I suggest that you leave, the student said as Izuku covered his mouth and tried to make himself smaller, which he could if the watch was online. Izuku took a quick glance at Bakugu and saw that Bakugu was giving him a very murderous glare. President Mike looked at where the student was looking and saw Izuku and remembered him. Hey, it's the transform kid. I wonder what he'll transform today for this exam. President Mike thought as the students laughed at Izuku. Alright, chill listeners. Examine number 7111. Thanks for calling in with your request. The 4th villain type is worth 0 points. That guy is just an obstacle that will be throwing your way. There's one in every battle center. It actions like a hurdle that you should try to avoid. It's not that it can't be beaten, but there's kinda no point. I recommend that my listeners should focus on the ones on the top of the charts, President Mike said. Thank you ever much. Please continue. The student bowed and sat back down. The students in the auditorium reveal that it's like traps that you have to get by like in a video game. That's all I got for you today. I'll sign off with a little present. A sample of our school motto. As General Napoleon Bonaparte once laid down, a true hero is one who overcomes life's misfortunes. MHHM. Now that's a tasty soundbite. President Mike grinned. You ready to go beyond? Let's hear a plus ultra. President Mike shouted as Izuku looked down to his paper, while his hands were shaking with a determined smile. Good luck, I hope you've been practicing that just books. President Mike shouted. The candidates were at their mock cities as Izuku's group were at their gate. They were stretching while Izuku stood there in his tracksuit while his body was shaking. He swallowed a lump in his throat while looking at the other candidates in his group. Okay, this is it. A mock battle. How come none of these guys look nervous at all? Are they that confident? Some of them even have special gear, Izuku said when he saw a kid who was slim-built with a rather feminine face. He had long blonde hair, worn flattened down around the majority of his head, spiked and sticking out to the sides at the bottom of it, with a side fringe that curves upwards a little before it does down. He had notably long eyelashes. He had a simple yet convenient belt around his stomach. Izuku continued to look around until he spotted a familiar brown-haired girl in the crowd at the front of the gate. Hey, it's her. The nice girl I met at the school gates, the one who kept me from falling. I should probably thank her for helping me back there, Izuku thought. He started to crip walk to her when a hand grabbed his shoulder. He turned around and saw that it was the boy with the glasses grabbing his shoulder, which caused him to be afraid. He's here too. The glasses looked at where Izuku was going and saw the girl, and from his point of view, she looked like she was trying to calm herself down. She looks like she's trying to focus on the trials ahead. The boy looked down to Izuku and gave him a pointed look. What are you going to do? Distract her and ruin her chances to succeed? The boy assumed, which caused Izuku to panic. No, no, no. Of course not. Izuku started to deny the accusation as the students looked at the two and noticed Izuku. Hey, look! That the guy who bit it earlier out front. One laughed. He practically wet himself. Another one laughed as he joined in. Dude, what a loser. Well, I guess one less rival to worry about. One more said as everyone thought that they were lucky. He's out. Why do I feel like everyone's already written me off? Izuku sighed. Right? Let's start. Izuku and the others looked up and saw Present Mike looking down on them. Get moving. There aren't countdowns in real battles. Run, 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 listeners. You're wasting airtime here, Present Mike said as Izuku looked around and saw that everyone was running into the city. I'm already behind, Izuku thought. Crap. Hey, wait up. Save some villains for me, Izuku shouted while running to catch up to the others. Music. My Hero Academia OST. Sento Kuinrin. Combat training. Just calm down. This is fine. I have plenty of time. I'll catch up to them. After all, I have All Might's power, which I haven't tested out yet, and the watch is still blue, Izuku thought. He ran in the city while remembering what All Might told him back at the beach. Remember, even though you've molded your body into a proper vessel of OFA, but you did it in a hurry, so be careful. You haven't even taken it for a test drive yet. The physical backlash of OFA can be intense. We don't have time, but take note. This is your first time using this quirk, and we don't know how it'll react to the watch, but when the time comes, I want you to clench your butt cheeks and yell this from the depths of your heart. Smash! Izuku kept running until a robot which was too familiar to him busts through a wall, causing him to stop. A one-pointer, Izuku said. The robots I scanned Izuku and rushed forward. Target acquired, it said while rushing towards Izuku. Crap, it's targeted me. No problem, all I have to do is dodge it and… Izuku noticed that his legs were shaking and he couldn't move. Why were my feet move? Holy crap, I'm gonna die, Izuku thought, but a glazing laser hit the robot, causing it to be destroyed. Got him, the blonde feminine-looking boy with the belt shouted, causing Izuku to turn to him. A laser. Merci beaucoup. We make a great team with you as my decoy, although I doubt I'll be seeing too much of you in the future. Adieu, the boy said while speeding off. Izuku looked at him in confusion. What did he mean by that? Izuku mumbled to himself while feeling a bit offended. 6 minutes and 2 seconds left, Present Mike announced, causing Izuku to panic and look at the watch. Why are you still blue? Izuku shouted to the watch, which as you can guess was still blue. Izuku looked around to see if there were any robots for him to smash, but none were around. Not good. Not good. Not good. Izuku started running down the street. Come on. I need point fast, Izuku thought as he saw dead robot bodies all around the road. As he ran out of an alleyway, he saw students scrambled all around with dead, smoking robots. He looked around in panic and saw the girl from earlier was in the action running. Her again. She was touching robots as they started to float off the ground while she put her hands together. Our release. She commends as the robots fell to the ground and get damaged from the fall. She pants, clearly tired from her quirk. Okay. That should be at least 28 points, she said and runs to her next targets. Huh. 28 points, Izuku thought in surprise. The glasses-wearing kid runs towards a robot and kicks it, causing it to explode. That puts me at 45, he commented. How'd he get so many? Izuku asked in awe. The other students started commenting their own scores while fighting the robots as some parts were flying in the air. That's 32 for me. Hey, that was mine. First come, first serve. At this rate, there won't be any enemies left. I'm gonna fail, Izuku thought as fear filled him. End music. Unknown room. Clearly the examines have no idea how many villains are present or their locations. They have limited time, must cover a vast area, and hunt down every last target. Nizu commented as he and the rest for the teachers and judges were watching the exam location on a display screen. Some use information-gathering abilities to plan out strategies. He commented as a picture for a kid with tentacles was on a building as he looked on. While others rely on their speed to pull ahead of their peers, he said as an image of the glasses-wearing kid ran and skid on the ground. Of course, remaining calm under pressure can be a huge advantage. He said as the laser-shooting kid appeared as he looked at the camera, /N. To this day, I still see him in my nightmares. I can't get over as to how he looks at us with those eyes. As pure power and combat ability, he said as Bakugo appeared while he was panting and grinned like a crazed maniac with a robot smoking. The most successful students use a combination of all those tactics. They're the ones who rack up the highest scores. Nizu said as he looks at a scene for Izuku who wasn't transformed. You haven't transformed yet, Midoriya. I wonder why, Nizu thought. I'd say that this year's group looks promising. Midnight's voice was heard. Well, that's still plenty of time before it's over. The rest test has yet to come. If I may, sir. A voice asked Nizu who was looking at Izuku. Ah yes, you may press it. Nizu said, not once taking his eyes off Izuku. Let's see if those files and data on you is true. Show me what you can do, Izuku. A hand opened a case which held a red button and pressed it. Battle Center B. Let's see how they react. A voice said as the mock city where Izuku was started shake as dust exploded into the air. The students looked all in shock as something large was heading towards them as its windows crack while passing by buildings. Izuku looked around to see what was the cause of the rumbling and looked up and seeing a titan-sized robot, staring down on them and crushing a building over them. Izuku suddenly remembered the words President Mike told them before the exam. It actions like a hurdle that you should try to avoid. It's not that it can't be beaten, but there's kinda no point. I recommend that my listeners should focus on the ones on the top of the charts. Izuku shook in place at the sight for it. Is this a little extreme? Izuku thought as the zero-pointer punches the ground causing dust to go in the air and cloud the students' vision. Each of them had to shield their eyes from the dust and wind that was caused from the force of the punch. Izuku opened his eye after the wind slowed down to see that the robot was extend its metal hand to them as the examines run away from it with Izuku falling to the ground while panting. Now things get interesting. A person's true character is revealed when faced with danger. All Might said as the glasses-wearing kid run past Izuku and in slow motion, see him before running away. Izuku looks on before scrambling away in a crawling position. This is a disaster. I gotta run and find some smaller villains. Izuku shouted. He tried to move but he wasn't going nowhere. Crap, 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 crap. I'm still at 0 points. Izuku said. President Mike stretched his hand in the air and held 2 fingers out. Let then 2 minutes remaining, he announced. What? 2 minutes? Izuku shouted and in a panic as he remembered the training, the months with All Might. Everything All Might did for me and supported me. All that training and analyzing. It'll be wasted, Izuku thought, but he stopped when, ow, help! He heard 2 voices and turned around to see the kind brown-haired girl and another girl were trapped under debris. The brown-haired girl tried to get up and failed as she fell to the ground, while the other girl tried to help her up with her tongue, as her hands were trapped under the debris. Insert music. My Hero Academia OST. You Say Run. Izuku starts to remember the kindness the brown-haired girl showed him at the gate earlier. I'm sorry that I didn't ask first, but I figured that you wouldn't mind catching you since falling on an important day is bad luck. Beep. Izuku heard something beep. He looked down and saw multicolored lighting surging around his wrist. He pulled his sleeve, saw the watch was in the green. Recalibration complete. All systems are back online. New function. Plus Ultra is inserted into alien DNA matrix. What? Alien DNA? What? Izuku didn't think about it anymore as the robot creeped ever closer. He put his fingers on the faceplate and ran to the robot without a second thought. The dust was causing problem for Izuku as he couldn't see the select bar to choose who he wanted. The lighting continued to surge over the watch as red vein-like lines appeared over Izuku's body. There are no combat points rewarded for taking on the humongous villain. But All Might was talking as Izuku let his fingers off the faceplate and it slid back to reveal the button. He slams the button down as the green flash consumed him with green lighting arcing off. There is a chance to shine. All Might continue as something jumped in the air, causing the dust to cover. The 2 girls noticed someone jumping to the robot as the teachers looked surprised by the sudden light show as Nizu smiled. To show what you're made for, All Might finished. Two green-colored hands in fingerless gloves readied into fists as red vein-like lines appeared over them. This figure moves pass in between the fingers for the robot. This one was a humanoid that was approximately 12 feet tall, with well-developed muscles with two pairs of four-fingered arms. A black stripe goes from his chin to his lower lip, and he has 4 eyes. A main pair, and a smaller pair below them with freckles on his face. This was familiar as Izuku transformed into this form not too long ago, but it was different as last time he had red skin. But this time, he had green skin, had a better developed forehead, more muscle mass, a different t-shirt design and a pair of jutting incisors and green wristbands on his forearms. He wore the watch's symbol on his chest instead of the upper left shoulder. /N. So imagine Ben 10,000's forearms form with green skin and freckles. I couldn't find any image on an ultimate forearms form, so I used that. So, clench your butt cheeks, kid, and yell this from the depths of your heart. Izuku remembered the words from All Might as he felt energy going to his arms. Smash! Izuku in his new form shouted as he punched the head for the robot. When his fists connected with the head, it resulted in an explosion as the head fell off with 2 massive dents on its face while the body was pushed back from the force from the punch and started to fall as explosion sparked. The others below were in awe from the display from power from this new form. That's right, All Might said with a proud smile on his face, show them who you are. Embody what it means to be a hero. Nothing is nobler than self-sacrifice. All Might as Izuku floated in the air with a shocked expression on his face while his 2 hands looked a bit sore from the purple color they had as the gloves were shredded. End music. This is kind of like when I kind of saved Kakin. I moved and reacted without thinking. But now, I've got powers, Izuku thought as the robot finally fell into a building. Just 1 minute left, Present Mike announced as Izuku snapped out of his shocked state and realized where he was as he started to fall to the ground. He fell and hit the street hard as he left a crater from the fall. Note to self. Need to work on landing, Izuku said as he pulled himself off the ground and out of the crater. He went to the girls who were still in the fallen debris and picked up the rocks from them with his other 2 hands with no difficulty. You two all right? Izuku asked as the girls looked at him. Why yeah, thanks for saving us, the brown-haired girl said, in complete awe for the huge 4-armed form in front of her. Why yeah. Thank you, Karo, the other girl said with a little ribbit which made her sound like a frog. No trouble. Izuku couldn't finish what he was trying to say as he fell to the ground. Present Mike looked at a wristwatch and saw the time. And that's it. Time's up, Present Mike said as a siren went off, signaling the end of the exam. The glasses-wearing boy sighed in concern. Bakugo grinned while wiping off some sweat while robots were around him while his hand was smoking. The girls bent down and watched Izuku's fallen form in concern as the brown-haired girl looked a bit sick before turning around and throwing up. Rainbows and glitter? The other students in Izuku's battle center were silent from what they just witnessed while one of them was staring at the reader. Did you see that? This guy totally destroyed that robot like it was nothing. Yeah, what kind of power does this guy have? Yeah, but more importantly, who is this guy? This guy wasn't with us at the gate before the exam. The students were talking among themselves, wondering who was this 4-armed guy and how strong was he. One candidate saw Izuku and her eyes went wide at what he was. A Tetramand. Here, on Earth. Why is he green instead of the usually red? No. Something must be going on here. But what? The candidate thought as a beeping noise rang through the air. They looked around if any robot was still coming, but they turned to the fallen Izuku as they see red light flashing under him. Beep 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 BWO. The candidates closed their eyes from the red flash that went off from Izuku when the beeping stopped. They opened their eyes and see Izuku, knocked out with his right hand a bit bruised while a little bit of green lighting arced off him and the watch as it dies. It's that guy. The one we thought was a strike out. He jumped and took out the robot with 1 punch. He must have some of mutation quirk. But why is he normal looking if he has that type of quirk? There has to be something else. If he had such amazing quirk, how come he didn't snag any points all day? Maybe he was trying to trick us. Joke's on him. There's no way he's passing with a 0 score like that. True, but you gotta admit, that was a cool move. As the candidates were talking, the glasses boy just watched as he looked down. They're all missing the point. Do they see what he did? He taught as he turns to the 2 girls watching Izuku's body. He sacrificed everything just to save those girls. He must have known how little time was left. How many points he needed to pass. That he was putting his life on the line. But, despite those concerns, He didn't hesitate to go and jump, he thought while clenching his hands. If this hadn't been an exam, then of course, I would have done the same thing, he thought before he realized something. Wait, the exam. The judges. They saw that. He started to think on it as the candidates hear someone walk to them. They turned to see Recovery Girl was walking to them. Every nice. Good work all around. You're heroes in my eyes, every one of you. Here, reward yourselves. Have some gummies, Recovery Girl said as she gives them to a boy who bowed to her in thanks. She walks to where Izuku was as the blonde-haired student watched. She's the heart of UA, he said as she looked at Izuku and sighed. Not what was I expecting since you just got the power, but you look better, but I see that your hand could use some healing since it looks broken. Recovery Girl thought as she puckered her lips and kisses the back of Izuku's head as everyone watches. What's she doing? One candidate asked awkwardly. You're watching a school nurse in action. The youthful heroine, Recovery Girl, the boy said as Izuku's hand heals at alarming rate. Her quirk is a super activation of healing power. She's the only reason UA can hold those reckless exams. Look. She saved what could have been weeks of recovery time. He finished speaking as the glowing stopped and Izuku was good as new. The glasses-wearing boy looked on as something came to his mind. I wonder, what if the exam had other factors that I didn't take into account? The boy thought before his eyes widen and look at Izuku. It's possible. Time skip. A week later. This time skip was brought to you by Izuku transforming into the wrong alien during a battle. Midoriya household. Muzutafu. Japan. Time. 18:30 p.m. Izuku was staring into a fried fish's eyes with a blank stare on his face and a blank smile. Izuku. Snap out of it. Izuku broke out of his blank trance and saw that his mother was looking at him with a worried expression on her face. Why are you smiling at that fish? Should I be worried about you, honey? Inko asked in concern. No. Sorry, I just spaced out of a minute. Izuku replied as he beings to eat his food, but Inko still looked at him with worry written on her face. Izuku was on the couch as he used his grip strengthener in one hand while his phone was in the other hand. He had his blank expression on his face while staring into nothing. Based from my own estimates, I barely passed the written part of the exam. Not that it matters anyway since I got a big fat 0 in the practical part. Not a single point. And ever since the exam, I haven't been able to get into touch with All Might, Izuku thought before he sighed. His mother turned to him after retrieving a book with her quirk. I know. Waiting for the results is terrible, Inko said, trying to lift Izuku's spirits. I guess, Izuku mumbled out. No matter what, I just want to let you know that I'm proud for you, and I think that you're really cool, sweetie. Inko reassured Izuku, but he was still depressed. Sure, Izuku mumbled out. I didn't tell my mom about All Might or his select or the watch's true nature. I wanted him to continue to be the symbol of peace of everyone. The #1 hero. Besides, he trusted me. So I'll keep my mouth shut, Izuku thought as he places his phone to the table and picks up on weights. All Might, even after you saw potential in me. But I failed. I let both of us down so much. I'm sorry, but I'll keep trying, Izuku thought while curling his weights. Just then, the door opened up and Izuku turned to see his mother on the floor and she scrambled on her knees. A letter. A letter. Izuku, look, it came. A letter. Came. Inko said before she pulled herself together and shows him a letter. It's here. A letter from UA. Izuku looked at the letter with unease as he takes it and heads to his room while his mom was pacing back and forth in the hallway. Inside the bedroom, Izuku was at his desk and was looking at the envelope before he takes the letter and rips it open. As it opens, a metal disc falls to the desk and a hologram scene pops it. Booyah! I am here as a projection. All Might in his hero form appeared, which startled Izuku. All Might? But this is from UA, isn't it? Izuku questioned while watching the hologram. I know it's been a while, but with great power comes a great amount for paperwork. My apologies, young man. All Might bowed as Izuku watched the hologram until a thought crossed his mind. Wait. If All Might's at UA and he's on the hologram, then does that mean? Izuku thought as his concussion was coming. I feel that you've figured it out. That's right. I didn't just come to this city to fight villains. You are looking at the new staff member of UA. Hi, All Might said. A hand popped out of nowhere and tapped All Might's arm as the #1 hero turned to the owner of the hand. Huh? Yes, what's the matter? Who's showboating? Oh sorry, but we have to show him something first, All Might said as Izuku sighed. Well, at least he's not mad. Wait, did he say we? Izuku said as he went back to the hologram to see All Might finishing his conversation with the hand. Okay, moving on. You passed the written part of the exam with flying colors. 94.5% grade is impressive. But you got 0 villain points in the practical exam. I'm sorry, All Might said as Izuku looked down and started shaking. I know that. I've known that since it's been all I could think, Izuku said as his voice started to break. I'm a failure. Frontally for you. There were other factors in place during the exams. Izuku looked up and saw Nizu on All Might's shoulder. PP Principal Nizu? Why's he here? Izuku questioned. That's right. But before we look at my results, we have a surprise for you. Here, a short clip for your viewing pleasure, All Might said as he turned on a screen and a video of the brown-haired girl and the other girl walking into the staff room. Excuse us, but do you have a sec? The brown-haired girl asked. Huh? Is that nice girl and... It's that other girl from the exam, Izuku said. They showed up after the exam to talk about you, young man. All Might teased a bye as Izuku stood up in shock. Oh, what did they have to speak? Well, let us see, shall we? Nizu said. He pressed the play button and the clip on screen resumed with the two girls talking to present Mike. You know that boy, with the really messy hair and all the freckles? The brown-haired girl tried to describe Izuku. And don't forget that he's plain looking with that weird watch on him, the other girl bluntly said. They meant me, Izuku thought. Insert inspirational music. My Hero Academia OST. You can be a hero. Yeah, him. Anyway, I was wondering, would it be possible to give him some of the points I earned during the exam? The brown-haired girl asked. Yeah, mine too. We heard people around us after he passed out say that he was on 0 points. The other girl said. Yeah, it seems crazy for someone who took down that giant robot and not have any points. You'll never be able to hang with the best for the best like me. Izuku remembered the words Bakugo told him in middle school. He would have had a better score if he hadn't stopped to help us, the brown-haired girl said. That was absolutely no reason for you to run in like that. Izuku remembered the words Death Arms, a hero who he met early last year, said to him. Izuku clutched his hand to his pants tightly. He saved us. Please, let us make it up to him. The girls shouted unity, which Izuku looked at the screen in disbelief. They were willing to give up their earned points. For him. Please, sir. Can you give him some of our points? The brown-haired girl asked as Nizu paused the video and the two turned to Izuku. You have 2 quirks now, yes. But it's your actions that inspire others. All Might said. Yes, Midoriya-san. You see, the practical exam has a hidden factor. You see, the exam wasn't graded on combat alone. Nizu said, which caught Izuku's attention as the clip resumes. Thanks for showing up to the station for your request, little listeners, but there's no reason to give him your points cause that little green listener is going to be fine, Present Mike said while patted the girls' heads. All Might and Nizu walked closer to the screen. How can a hero course reject someone who is committed into saving other, regardless for the risks to himself? After all, that is what makes a hero, All Might said. Well said, All Might. Which is why we have to show you this. Nizu said as a scoreboard appeared with the top 10 candidates being shown, and Izuku went into shock when he saw his name on the board. We have rescue points. A panel of judges watches and they award points for heroic acts beyond just fighting villains. All Might said. Yes, and for your sacrifice and the saving of the 2 young ladies, you earned these points. Nizu said as Izuku's results displayed onto the hologram. Rank number 1. Izuku Midoriya. Villain points. 0/rescue points. 85. Rank number 3. Achiko Uraraka. Villain points. 28/rescue points. 35. Rank number 10 to Azui. Villain Ponitz. 15/rescue points. 35. Izuku couldn't believe his eyes right now. He was first place in the exam, with rescue points under his belt. The 2 teachers turned to him. All 3 of you passed the exam, All Might said. Is this some kind of dream? Izuku thought. Welcome, Izuku Midoriya, to UA High School's heroic course. Nizu congratulated Izuku while tears fell from his face. All Might stretched out his hand to the camera. Yes. Welcome to your Hero Academia, All Might said. Izuku started to wipe his tears with his left sleeve and looked at the watch on his wrist. He felt truly blessed to have found it that night. Thank you, For everything, Izuku cried out. It may have taken a lot of help, but my life changed completely, and now, I'm enrolling into the high school of my dreams. Izuku walked out of his room as his mother was pacing around the hallway. He looked at her and gave her the biggest and brightest smile ever, and she realized what happened. He did it. He got in. Oh my baby! That's a wrap on the fourth part. Everyone, if you missed the previous parts, be sure to check out the playlist. And don't forget to support the author for their amazing work. I'll be back soon. Thank you all for your support.